Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Good, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm good. Do you ever color like with crayons?
Oh, not since I was younger. But I do know that adult coloring books had kind of a trend going a few years ago. So
Yeah.
I knew people that were getting them for holidays or birthdays and using them. I guess it's, meditative or relaxing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. I got on that trend
Oh, you did.
when it first happened, but I think I colored 2 pages. I don't know.
Well, did it help for you? Was it relaxing, a way of focusing the mind and
I get the
resting?
point. Yeah, I get the point, because you're only focusing on those movements. And so it's
Mhm.
nice. The other, over Thanksgiving, my sister in law loves to paint as a way
Oh.
to relax. And so I never paint with her. But then the other day she brought it out and we were just painting together. And I thought,
Oh.
this is kind of nice.
That's amazing. What a cool thing to be able to go to, right?
Yeah. Well,
Is
she's a good
painting.
artist. So,
Wow, amazing.
yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
excited. We're getting on into this topic of crayons, and it's going to come
Well,
out. You guys
kind
are
of.
going to
Yes. It's
see
going
sort
to.
of in one way or another, but we are going to have a listener question today. This episode is based
Yes.
on a great listener question. So, shall I read the question, Michelle?
Yes.
All
Please
right.
do.
All right. So our listener Sylvia has asked, "Hello, Lindsay, Michelle, Jessica, and Aubrey. Thank you so much for your podcast and your efforts to teach us in such an entertaining way. I've been listening to your podcast and watching your videos on YouTube for about 3 weeks now. I try to
Oh.
listen to at least 5 episodes a day, so I still have a lot to catch up on. Well, welcome
Wow.
to our community,
Welcome.
Sylvia. So great, Michelle,
I'm
to
glad
have
you're
a
already
new.
sending in a question.
I know that is such a good sign for this listener. Guys, make sure you send us your questions. Send them into
Please.
support at allearsenglish.com. We'll get them on our list. And if it's a good question, we'll answer it and read your name out loud on the show. Okay.
Absolutely. All
All
right.
right.
Love it.
All right. I have a question about an idiom. I'm not the brightest candle on the chandelier. I know there are variations, different variations of this expression. We use similar ones in German and Hungarian. English is my third language. In Hungarian, for example, we say not the sharpest knife in the drawer. What variations exist in English and how commonly are they used? Also, is this expression considered offensive or can it be taken with a wink and a smile? Thank you so much for your hard work, and I wish you all the best moving forward. Best regards, Sylvia. Lovely, lovely, Michelle.
Such a great and fun question. I was very excited to plan this one. So thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Hmm.
So this is interesting. So I think the main part of the question is at the end because we need to talk about this for sure. Sylvia asks, is this expression considered offensive or can it be taken with a wink and a smile? So we're
Yes.
definitely going to talk about what the feeling is behind these types of expressions. But before we do that, we want to remind you guys to hit the follow button so you never miss anything from us.
Exactly. We have a lot of old episodes, past episodes, but we come out with 5 new episodes a week. And so stay up to date with our newest episodes, everyone. Go ahead and hit that follow button so you can make All Ears English a part of your day. That's the key. That's how we get better. All right.
Yes,
Good.
exactly.
Yes.
All right. So what do you think? Is this offensive?
I mean, I think Michelle, essentially, yes, it's extremely offensive because you're
Hmm.
saying that you're not smart, right? First of all, it depends on who we're saying it about. Are we saying it about ourselves? In
Yeah.
that case, it can be okay. It can be acceptable. It's the self-deprecating way of
Right.
connecting, really connecting
Yeah.
with others. Now, if you go and say it about someone else, uh, there are shades of gray there too. There are nuances, right, Michelle?
Right.
We wanna be
Right.
careful. It could be
Yeah.
offensive. Yeah.
It could very well be offensive. You would have to be using it with somebody you know pretty well
Very well. Yeah.
and in a very kind of funny way, right? Not seriously insulting them. So
Mhm.
that's
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So that's basically what I would say. But so let's get into it more. So Sylvia says, "I'm not the brightest candle on the chandelier," is the example. Have you heard that one?
That one, I don't think I've heard it in that exact way with those exact words. I mean, we're saying the same thing across different cultures here, right? They're just variations of the same idiom, but I don't think we use that one, Michelle. Do you think we do?
I don't hear this one as often. When I was researching for the episode, I found it, but to me, it's not
Hmm.
one of the more common ones that we use. So, we're going to talk about some of the common ones today. So, the idea, let's talk about kind of the structure of this. It's I'm not the, or someone is not the.
Right.
Somethingist, so an adjective, est,
Yeah.
noun in the noun.
Noun in the noun. I'm not the something, noun in the noun. Yes.
Right.
There's the breakdown.
Right. Okay.
Love
But
it.
we'll give a lot of examples. So you're saying something that comes in something else. So
Yes.
or something that is on something else, like I guess the chandelier.
Mm.
So I mean, the biggest one that I think about is this what we talked about with the crayon.
Mhm.
Lindsay,
Mhm.
is that a common? Can you say what that one is?
Yeah, so this is I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. Yeah, so essentially, I mean, technically you could even make up your own, which would be really clever, right? You could. I mean, if you want to be really creative with language, you
Yeah.
could make up your own idiom in this context as long as you
Yeah.
understand the formula, right?
Right, right, exactly. So I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. Noun in the
Mhm.
noun.
Right. And that one's interesting because that's kind of a double play on words because we also use the
Mhm.
word bright to refer to intelligence, right? So you're saying
Right.
I'm not the the brightest color crayon in the box, but I'm also not the smartest. So that
Right.
one is extra special.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you and you know, if you use this on its own, it means you're not that smart.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So what can be okay is if you use it by itself or if you use it just with something else. So let me explain what I mean. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box when it comes to technology. So you can be specific, right? So
Mhm.
if you add when it comes to, that can be a good way to be specific. You're not just saying, I'm not bright. You're
Yeah.
just saying,
Right.
oh, this isn't something that I know a lot about.
Yeah, we would recommend that. Exactly. And it builds nuance to what you're saying. It builds context. It makes people want to ask you a question. Well, maybe you're really into art if you're not into technology, right? It
Yeah.
just gives people more to work with, more to respond to. Okay.
Exactly. So let's do some of the other ones. These are some of the other ones I've heard, Lindsay. And if
Yeah.
you use them or not, we can talk through them. So what's the first one?
All right. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. I think this one is the one I've heard the most.
Yeah.
I think this might also be on a song from the 90s, if I'm not
Oh,
forgetting.
really?
Yeah, I think so. But, anyways, what's the next one, Michelle?
Okay. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. And now I found this one, not the sharpest pencil in the cup.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
also sharp is also a
Oh,
play,
you're
right? Because
right.
right.
We could do another episode, a follow-up episode here, Michelle, on ways to say intelligent, bright, sharp. There's a lot. I mean, we are a culture
Mm.
that hyper values intelligence, right? Hyper
Mhm.
values conceptual, cerebral intelligence, book
Mhm.
smarts. And so we have a lot of words for that, for sure.
Yeah, that would be a fun one, different ways to say smart.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting. Mhm.
okay, and then there's also not the brightest bulb in the box, so that
Mm.
goes back to bright.
Hmm. Interesting. So I wonder if we advise our listeners to make up their own. I wonder if we have to use that double play on words when it comes to this idiom.
Something has to be about like so if it's lights and things being sharp or not, basically.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, for yes,
Yeah.
interesting.
But there's one about an elevator too that kind of breaks the
Okay, so this
mold.
is yes, this is a different one, and there are a lot of ones like this as well. I could do a whole other episode, but it's so mean spirit. I feel bad even saying it.
Oh, what is it? Oh, yeah, well, should I say it or
Sure, go for it.
okay. My elevator doesn't go all the way to the top.
I
All
hope people
right.
aren't going to isolate this, Lindsay, and
Well,
then
no.
play it one
Well,
day with AI, and you're just saying my elevator.
no, well, who knows? It probably will happen. But you know what? I have a fun one that my dad used to use all the time.
Yeah.
He used to say, "You're not playing with a full deck." Do you know that one?
Ah,
That one?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
a fun one. That's a fun one. And sometimes we learn language from our family members. What they used to
Right.
say. So yeah,
And what do these mean? I mean, you're not playing with a full deck. What does that
you're
mean?
just not something's missing, right? Something's missing. And so yeah, but Michelle, overall, we think these are definitely offensive if they're used in the wrong
Yes.
way. So be
Yes.
super careful.
Yes.
What else?
They could be insulting someone's intelligence, but of course
Hmm.
context is king, and it's just good to
Yes.
consider why you might hear this or who it is okay to hear it from or say it to. So we're going to do
Hmm.
some more examples after we break.
Okay, Michelle, back for more examples. So would you like to give us the first one here?
Sure. I keep forgetting what our password is. Seriously, I feel like I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed sometimes.
Yeah. And here you're also qualifying it. You're saying sometimes,
Right.
right? Just giving more
Right.
context. It's situational.
Yeah.
Or I've known you since third grade. You're not the brightest crayon in the box when it comes to football rules. Yeah, that's probably me when it comes to football rules.
Oh,
I don't know any
oh,
rules of football.
oh, I'm horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Lindsay, what's the point of our students learning this if it's a bit mean spirited?
I think it can be certainly useful when it comes to self deprecating humor, right? So you have permission to say this about yourself if you feel like you want to. I wouldn't recommend saying it broadly about yourself. Overall, I'd give it the scenarios that we talked about football rules or technology or certain interesting aspects of life that you can say you're not very good at, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right, exactly. So, it's just be careful, that's all. So the rules are you can use it for self-deprecating
Mhm.
humor, but not in a situation you don't wanna put yourself down too much,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
somebody you're very close with and you're kinda teasing them. Those to me,
Exactly.
if you stick with those, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, no. So I shared the example of what my dad used to say to me. That's a very close family member,
It's
right?
cute.
Teasing you. That's that example. So we want to really make sure we stay within these rules and then
Parameters,
we'll
yeah.
probably be okay. All right. Good.
Alright, let's do a role play.
All right. So here we are best friends and we're trying to fix your phone. Oh, geez.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my gosh. How did you break the screen again?
I know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, am I?
Certainly not when it comes to phones. Okay. So can we take this piece out?
We can try.
Oh man, I'm not the brightest crayon on the box with technology.
Yeah, your elevator doesn't go all the way to the top.
I'm trying to help you. Oh geez. Okay. So yeah, I mean, close friends, they banter,
Yeah,
right? Especially when they know it's not going to be hurtful because they know the person. It's a
yeah,
special level of connection that you have, right?
yeah. When you reach that place with somebody where you're kind of just going back and forth, teasing each other, you're really in a good spot. You've really become kind of close to that person.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly. So, okay, Michelle, what did you say first?
All right. So I said, I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, am I?
And then I said, "Oh man, I'm not the brightest crayon on the box with technology." And I gave a little specific scenario that I'm not good at, right?
And then I said, yeah, your elevator doesn't go all the way to the top.
Now you're really teasing me, and I'm pushing
Yeah.
back. I'm saying, "Hey, I'm trying to help you. Why are you teasing me?"
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we're having a
Yes.
good time.
Yeah. All right, Michelle. What's another episode our listeners could go to right away to keep
All
listening?
right. So head on over to episode 2315. That was Who Asked You? Rude phrases to avoid in English.
Yes, love it. Any takeaway today where we should leave our listeners?
Well, I wonder how much this exists in other languages.
Yes.
I'm very curious if this is a very common way to describe people not being that smart about something. So
Yeah.
that to me is I'm curious. So write to us, let us know um, if, if it's common in your language to say something like this. And then also the takeaway is I try using this with a close friend.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun,
Yeah.
but you got to use it in a certain fun way and about something very lighthearted.
Exactly. If you have that vibe with a friend where this makes sense, you already tease each other a lot, drop this in, give it a try, see how it goes. Follow
Yeah.
the rules that we've laid out close friends, family members, or self deprecating. Try it that way. Don't be mean to people. I mean, don't
Yeah.
use this in a mean, a weaponized way, right,
Yeah,
Michelle?
don't like use it with your boss or something like that. Like be
No.
careful.
All right. Great stuff. Michelle, you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.